In this match between the New York Knicks and Utah Jazz, the Knicks suffered a tough 121-106 loss, ending their four-game winning streak. The game started off poorly for the Knicks, with Utah taking control early on and maintaining that momentum throughout most of the game. Although the Knicks mounted a late comeback with a 17-0 run, they could not sustain it, and the Jazz regained control to seal the victory. The Knicks' offensive struggles were a major factor in the loss. The team, which had been one of the better three-point shooting squads in the league this season, shot poorly from behind the arc, making only 17 of 51 attempts, 33%. Key players like Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Karl-Anthony Towns had off nights shooting, which ultimately led to their downfall. The inability to make shots, particularly from three-point range, undermined the Knicks' chances to keep up with the Jazz. Rebounding was another area where the Knicks struggled. Defensive rebounding, which had been a strength for them this season, was lacking, as they were out-rebounded by 12 boards in this game. This failure to secure rebounds allowed the Jazz to extend possessions and capitalize on second-chance opportunities. The Knicks' defense, which had been a reliable source of success in their recent games, could not compensate for the offensive inefficiency and the struggles on the boards. In contrast, the Utah Jazz showed resilience after an inconsistent start to the season, and they performed excellently, especially in the second half. Lauri Markkanen led the Jazz with a game-high 34 points, and their shooting from beyond the arc was exceptional, as they hit 19 of 34 three-pointers, over 55%. This red-hot shooting performance was a key factor in their victory, especially since the Knicks' defense struggled to contain them. In addition, Walker Kessler, a key defensive presence for the Jazz, had an outstanding performance, making life difficult for Knicks players trying to attack the paint. Kessler's length and athleticism made it challenging for New York's shooters to penetrate or finish around the rim, and his shot-blocking ability impacted the Knicks' offensive flow. The Knicks' offense became overly reliant on the three-point shot, and that strategy backfired as they failed to hit the mark. Despite good performances from some players, including Obi Toppin, who played with energy and shot efficiently, the overall team performance was disjointed. They failed to adjust when the three-pointer wasn't falling, and as a result, they let Utah build a commanding lead. It was clear that the Knicks were outworked and outplayed by the Jazz in crucial areas of the game, such as defense, rebounding, and shooting efficiency. One of the big takeaways from this game is the inability of the Knicks to adapt when things weren't going well. The team seemed to lack the urgency and energy that the Jazz brought to the court, especially as the Jazz were coming off a tough road trip. The Knicks, on the other hand, appeared somewhat complacent, perhaps due to their recent success. They failed to adjust their approach when the three-point shooting wasn't working, and that lack of flexibility ultimately hurt them in this game. Looking at individual performances, Kessler's impact on both sides of the ball was immense. Not only did he block shots and protect the rim, but he also provided an offensive spark by contributing key rebounds and finishing efficiently around the basket. His ability to switch on smaller players and disrupt the Knicks' offense was a big reason why they struggled to score in the paint. Kessler's performance was a reminder of how valuable a player with such versatility can be, especially when matched up against a team like the Knicks that relies heavily on its perimeter shooting. Additionally, Lauri Markkanen's performance cannot be overlooked. His 34 points were crucial for the Jazz, and he showed why he is such an important player for them. His ability to score from all areas of the floor, combined with his length and shooting touch, made him a matchup nightmare for the Knicks' defense. While the Knicks were missing some key shots, Markkanen was consistently finding ways to score and keep the Jazz in control of the game. Overall, this game highlighted several weaknesses for the Knicks. Their shooting, particularly from three-point range, was poor, and they couldn't rely on their defense to bail them out as they have in previous games. Rebounding was another area where they were outclassed, and their offensive strategy of relying on the three-pointer didn't pay off. It also exposed the importance of making adjustments when things aren't going according to plan, something the Knicks struggled to do. For the Jazz, this victory marked a return to form after a rough start to the season. With key players like Kessler and Markkanen stepping up, they showed the potential to be a strong team. Their shooting performance from beyond the arc was impressive, and they capitalized on the Knicks' mistakes to seal the win. In conclusion, the Knicks have some work to do to avoid these types of performances in the future. Their offense needs to be more balanced, and they cannot afford to become too reliant on the three-pointer. They must also find ways to combat strong defensive performances, like Kessler's, and adjust their game plan when things aren't going their way. The Jazz, on the other hand, will take confidence from this victory and hope to continue building momentum moving forward.